Good morning, second graders. I hope you are having a good day so far. I can't believe it is already Wednesday. We're halfway through the week. And then next week's fall break. That can't even seem possible. All right, so this week we've been reading nonfiction narrative books. And remember, narratives, when you're writing them about yourself, are about real moments in your life or memories or stories that you tell. And nonfiction narratives are books that are told in a way that it sounds like a story, but it's telling you real facts like a nonfiction book would do. The only difference is this doesn't have a table of contents like a nonfiction book would. So that's why it's the word narrative in it, because it looks like a fiction book, but it says real facts in it. So you can learn real things from nonfiction narrative books. Our Monday book was about a cactus, and our Tuesday book was about an oak tree and a log, what happens to it after it grows and topples over, and all the different animals that benefit from it and call it home and eat from it. This book, our book today and our book tomorrow, they're not about plants like our Monday and Tuesday books were. Our books for Wednesday and Thursday are about animals, in particular, animals that live in water. So today's book is called Salmon Stream, and if you don't know anything about salmon, they have a pretty incredible journey upstream. They swim against the current, and it's really difficult. So we're going to read. Now, I will say that the way that this book is written repeats itself. Each page adds a sentence, but it will end with the stream in the forest almost on every page. And it will build and build and build. All right, so on this first page, it has a little bit of a map that shows where the fish can be found. And it also has 6 fish labeled. So it says Chinook, coho, chum, steelhead trout, pink, and sockeye. So since this is Salmon Stream, I'm thinking that maybe those are types. Now, I don't know about trout because trout's its own kind of fish. So let's see. Salmon Stream. So remember, we're going to learn real facts about salmon and their journey, and maybe who benefits from salmon. This is the stream in the forest. This is the water clear and cool that flows in the stream in the forest. What animals do you see? I wonder if those animals are predators of salmon. This is the deep and shady pool filled with water clear and cool that flows in the stream in the forest. See how it built upon that? This is the nest of rocky gravel far beyond the shady pool, filled with water clear and cool that flows in the stream in the forest. The egg of a salmon born to travel hides in the nest of rocky gravel, far beyond the shady pool filled with water clear and cool that flows in the stream in the forest. This is the tiny fish that hatched and has its dinner still attached. From the egg of salmon, born to travel, that hides in the nest of rocky gravel, far beyond the shady pool, filled with water clear and cool, that flows in the stream in the forest. Look at them. This is the trout that tried to catch the tiny fish so newly hatched, that has its dinner still attached. From the egg of salmon, born to travel, that hides in the nest of rocky gravel, far beyond the shady pool, filled with water clear and cool, that flows in the stream in the forest. A hovering osprey, which is a kind of bird, dived to snatch the wily trout that tried to catch the tiny fish so newly hatched, that had its dinner still attached. From the egg of a salmon, born to travel, that hides in the nest of rocky gravel, far beyond the shady pool, filled with water clear and cool, that flows in the stream in the forest. Look at those big talons. Ah! I wouldn't want to be that guy. These are the spotted fry that grow and wait for a sign they instinctively know. The rains will tell them when to go. They leave their place where the osprey snatched the wily trout that tried to catch the tiny fish so newly hatched, and had its dinner still attached. From the egg of a salmon, born to travel, that hides in the nest of rocky gravel, far beyond the shady pool, filled with water clear and cool, that flows in the stream in the forest. Okay. Traveling down with currents flow, facing upstream as they go, the smolt pass obstacles great and small, gravelly shadows a waterfall, through the culverts and pipes devised by man, down a fish ladder of a dam, into an estuary wide. So there's a lot of words that are hard words in this book. And if you are ever reading a book and you find that a word is hard or you just don't know it, I would encourage you. Now I just had sticky notes and now I can't find them. But I would encourage you to, here they are, get sticky notes. And when you come to words that you don't know and you need to ask, so maybe you don't have a grown-up by you and you're like, I don't know what that means. I can't use context clues to help me. I need to ask someone later. So I'm going to write down, now there's a lot of hard words on this page that I don't necessarily know what they mean. So I need to write them down so that I can look them up later. So I'm just going to write one, and then when I have a grown-up nearby later, I'm going to ask them. And if they don't know, you both can look them up together. So here's the word that I wrote down, smolt. I don't know what smolt means, but I'm going to put it on my page, and I'm going to come back to that later so that I know. I'm not just going to say, you know what, it's okay that I don't know that word, because it's important that you take the time and you do that for words that you don't know. I already see one on the next page where I think that I need to look it up. Drifting with the ebbing tide. Ebbing tide. So I could make a guess about that ebbing tide, but I'm not positive what that means. I know tide has to do with water and how high or low water is. So maybe looking at this picture, I see grasses. So maybe ebbing means that the water's going away, but I'm not sure. They reach their saltwater home at last, an ocean indescribably vast. The salmon grow for months in the sea, catching fish and swimming free. So another question I have is, they are including steelhead trout in their labels. So I'm wondering if steelhead trout is classified as a kind of salmon. That could be a question that I write on a post-it. I could say steelhead trout, ? And then I could do more research. So coho salmon, steelhead trout, Chinook salmon, pink salmon, sockeye, chum, Atlantic salmon. So I just wonder. I might need to learn more. Oh no, this seems like a predator page. Trying not to become a meal for human, sea lion, orca, or seal until they get the homing urge to gather where river and oceans merge. This is the rain that swells the rivers and sends the message that nature delivers. To salmon to send them home to spawn, relentlessly swimming on and on. Up the river with the tide, past the estuary wide. Okay, so that's another word, estuary. I'm going to write that down. I'm going to put it on my page. And that's going to remind me to go back later when I have time to look that up and figure out what that is. That's a learning opportunity. Up a fish ladder on a dam, through culverts and pipes devised by man. Obeying the voice of instinct's call, they leap a 10-foot waterfall. To reach the place where they were born, bruised from the journey, weary and torn. The salmon come home at the end of their lives. They spawn, and each little egg that survives will start the cycle over again with the coming of the rain. And silver smolt will discover the sea and turn the salmon swimming free. A tiny fish will one day hatch with their dinners still attached. From the eggs of a salmon born to travel that hide in the nest of rocky gravel, far beyond the shady pool, filled with water clear and cool, that flows in the stream in the forest. Oh my gosh, and then look. I'm not going to read this to you, but the very last page, it has all these facts about the salmon cycle. We learned about the cactus cycle and the oak tree cycle. Well, here's the salmon cycle, and then it says types of salmon and how long they live, how many eggs they lay. Even more facts. So I'm thinking if this is something that interests you, for sure on Epic, look up salmon or fish. Maybe you're a fisherman and you want to learn more about that. Maybe you really like nonfiction narrative books and you can go to the library website and you can look up books that are just nonfiction narratives. They have a little checkbox that says genre. So if this is a genre that you like, I encourage you to explore more. All right, tomorrow we will be reading another nonfiction narrative book, not about fish, but about a different animal. Let's see what that is tomorrow. Have a good day.